here's the basic premise, okay? If you look at the world the way I do through the institutional indexing, the majority of the world's wealth is in sovereign wealth and pension plans in America. So it's great to talk about retail investors in Bitcoin, but they're absolutely nothing burgers. In fact, Bitcoin's less than $1 trillion, which is nothing in the context of assets. Now, how's that going to change? The only way that changes is if we get policy. In other words, if we allow institutions to buy Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. And in order to do that, we need the SEC and the regulators to rule.
Staunch cryptocurrency advocate and Shark Tank celebrity Kevin O'Leary has once again described how suitable regulatory policies in the United States would help Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies grow. The Canadian entrepreneur and television personality explains that retail investors have been able to push Bitcoin's growth to almost $1 trillion, but if it is to become a multi-trillion-dollar asset, investors have to welcome regulation with open arms. He adds that regulations will entice big money investors currently waiting on the sidelines. He mentions 5 policy vectors that could usher Bitcoin and the rest of the crypto market into a new era. They include the Cynthia Lummis bill, Biden's executive order on cryptocurrencies, the SEC announcement on carbon audits for all companies, and the Bill Hadry bill on stablecoins. Kevin O'Leary dives deeper by talking about positive changes that regulation has brought to the crypto market in Canada, the United Arab Emirates, Switzerland, and Germany. He adds that these changes will look quite small compared to what regulations in the US will bring to the crypto market. Please watch the video to the end so you don't miss any important information that O'Leary shares in his interview. Also, ensure you hit the like button and drop your comments and observations in the comment section below. Thanks and enjoy the video.
I don't think we should look for the government to produce innovation in financial services. I think we should look to them to regulate. I don't see them having much in terms of getting programmers to go to work to do a new coin. They should simply license a series of stable coins, perhaps use the Haggerty bill, which makes 2 things very important: an audit every 30 days of the underlying assets, and you're not allowed to use any asset that has a longer duration than 12 months. So that means you're basically building a money market fund, which we allow thousands of in this jurisdiction. So all you're doing is applying the same rules that basically guide money market funds like at Schwab or Fidelity and applying that to a USDC stablecoin or another stablecoin. That bill alone would bring billions of dollars into the balance sheets of corporations, which are not allowed to buy stablecoins yet because we don't have policy. Biden is talking about a wealth tax now and taxing unrealized gains. For most entrepreneurs in America, that is an un-American idea. What made this country great was entrepreneurship and the employment of capital. And obviously, Biden's plan would be trying to take that capital back before death. That's simply un-American. I don't think there's a chance of that happening. Biden's popularity has dropped to new all-time lows. I don't want to get into politics, but he's worse off than Trump was at this time in Trump's administration. The chance that he gets any policy through before the midterms is 0. I think his party will be decimated in the midterms if he keeps pushing policy like this. So there'll be nothing happening after the midterms, and we'll have to wait till the next general election before any of these ideas get pushed forward. But this plan is DOA, in my opinion. Not a chance this happens, and that's a good thing. At this point, I like gridlock in Washington. We've had enough spending. Let's end it now. And let's coast in for the next 36 months with nothing else done. That would be good. I think there are 5 policy vectors in place right now. And here's the basic premise, okay? If you look at the world the way I do through the institutional indexing, the majority of the world's wealth is in sovereign wealth and pension plans in America. So it's great to talk about retail investors in Bitcoin, but they're absolutely nothing burgers. In fact, Bitcoin's less than $1 trillion, which is nothing in the context of assets. Now, how's that going to change? The only way that changes is if we get policy. In other words, if we allow institutions to buy Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. And in order to do that, we need the SEC and the regulators to rule. Now, there are 5 different initiatives. Number 1, the Lummis bill. Number 2, you've got a really good thing happening with POTUS's statement. He came out and said, look, I'm the president of the United States. I believe in the productivity opportunity of crypto. Let's examine it. So that's a good thing that came out of the executive order. Then you've got BlackRock, who's saying, look, we understand the potential, but we want to talk about ESG concerns. Then you have the SEC, another piece of policy just last week, talking about doing carbon audits on every company, including crypto companies. And 24 hours old, the Haggerty transparency on stablecoin bill just hit the market 24 hours ago. It's only 2 pages. So this has tremendous potential. All of this suggests that there's potential for policy that could really help the crypto markets in a good way.
O'Leary also talks about his portfolio and some of the crypto assets in which he is invested. He explains that even though no other crypto asset can surpass Bitcoin, projects like Solana, Polygon, Avalanche, and Helium have a lot of potentials. He also explains that his portfolio is properly diversified, so if he makes losses on multiple crypto assets, at least one will perform well. I only need one big winner, a Shark Tank celebrity declares. Here's OLeary.
If you're an investor, you have to read the room. You have to understand when policy is changing. You have to understand when the regulator is changing. What changed my mind was the first inkling of regulatory support in Canada, then Switzerland, then Germany, then United Arab Emirates, and then in England. Now, it hasn't happened here in the US yet, but when I saw this happening, I thought, I've got to get ahead of this. And I started my first positions in Ethereum and Bitcoin, and then expanded my offerings into blockchains and level 1, level 2, and then started investing in the equity of companies like WonderFi, Immutable Holdings, and BitZero. These are companies that are basically riding the wave in a regulated environment. The only way you can treat crypto and different coins and tokens and blockchains and productivity tools is to think of it this way. Bitcoin is not a coin. It's software. Ethereum is software. Solana is software. HBAR is software. It's all software, and I don't know which of these is going to work, so I take a portfolio approach. I've got 20%, which is the maximum I can put into the operating company. That's as much as I can put in, but I've got 32 positions within that 20% holding, and now I have to wait and see what emerges. I'm going to get some losers. I'm going to get some winners, but I only need one big winner to get a great return. I don't know which one it's going to be. I don't think you're ever going to pass the granddaddy crypto that's going to continue to become harder and harder to mine and just get more scarce. It's real estate to me. To me, it's AAA office real estate. I'm holding my coins in perpetuity. My assumption is it'll at least match the index's performance over time, if not beat it. But productivity tools like Solana, which would increase the speed of transactions on blockchain by 100-fold, I think that has a lot of potential. I want to own that. I like what's happening with Avalanche. I like what's happening with Helium. I own that too. I like a lot of these different properties. Polygon, another one that's aggregating transactions to reduce gas fees on Ethereum. These are all good ideas. I've met all the developers. I'm very fortunate I get into their deals, and I take positions long term. I don't know who's going to win. I have no idea, but I bet in my portfolio I got a couple of winners. It's like Shark Tank. I think the only adoption that really matters for institutional allocation is the SEC and the U.S. regulator setting policy on stablecoins, Bitcoin, blockchain. We've got enough bills on the table now to start to take these and adopt some of the suggestions inside them. We need the regulator to regulate. It's great that these different jurisdictions are providing licenses. I mean, Canada was the first to grant a crypto exchange with a dealer broker attached to it. And now it's trading in every province. I know that because WonderFi owns it. We bought BitBuy recently. But also countries like Argentina, Brazil, the United Arab Emirates through Abu Dhabi, the ADGM. These are institutions that are granting licenses. But the big one that is still the question mark out there is the SEC and the U.S. regulator. We need that on board to get allocations of 1% to 3% in crypto assets in the pension institutional funds. And they're not going to do it until they see it. They're not going to ever go offside when BlackRock says you can't do it, and the regulator says you can't do it, and all the money managers won't do it, and there's no infrastructure to provide for the compliance departments, and the auditors won't even sign the statement. So we have a lot of work to do before this is going to become a major asset class, and it's all around policy and regulation.
The issue of regulation of the crypto market in the United States is quite controversial. While some experts like Michael Saylor and OLeary believe regulation will be great for the sector, others are skeptical because of the SEC reputation of always messing things up. Members of this group are especially concerned that regulation will defeat the decentralized status of the crypto industry. What are your thoughts on OLeary's interview and the prospect of regulations for the crypto market in the United States? Please drop your comments and observations in the comment section below and hit the like button. Thanks for watching.